women here, aren't there? Yeah, you don't like that. The Sun won't be saying that, will it? All these women. Yeah. It's men like you and men that really
You've been violent. You've been violent. So you need to go.
Yeah, you need to leave. Mr. Suck.
That's fine. Why don't we just pop to you? Just show us your
Step away. Come on, Boogie.
over here.
Why don't you step away? Let's see your press card.
A large group of people make me feel better.
So you're not with the Sun, are you?
He reads it.
What's going on?
So this is a stand-up person.
Yeah, I know, but
Because you don't have a press card, yeah.
What is your why?
I'm
taking photographs.
Yeah, that's right.
Right-wing bigots. They're the men we need to be afraid of.
bully. You're a violent
Nigel
bully,
Farage posts around Andrew Tate saying he's a role model for women, and then it's all men over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels quite antagonistic.
Well, that's because they wouldn't let me take a picture with my...
They don't have to let you take a picture.
Plus, I also think about your
You're the
safety.
men we're
Just think
scared
about your
of.
safety as well.
Right-wing, bigoted
I know, but if you're
men.
going into
Go and
the
look
crowd,
on their Facebook and
they're not
social
going
media and
towards
see
you.
what they say about their own women, let alone others.
It's all it is. I know you have it, but we're here to facilitate everything. You've got to do it, they've got to do it, they've got to do it. We can just do it safely and manage it.
Incels and misogynists. That's who we need to be afraid of.
Carry on with my job.
I don't think
Not refugees coming in little boats. It's a
I
lot
don't think they want you within the crowd. You've got two very great cameras.
You posting up misogynistic shit against their own women, let alone us.
That's right. Taking photos.
You want to see what they're saying?
You will gain more by standing over there and taking the photos.
You're the
from
men
over
we
there.
fear.
upside down!
You're the danger. You're the danger. You are the danger to women. You want us back barefoot in the kitchen.
Take a step
Yeah.
Refugees are welcome here! Refugees are welcome here! Refugees are welcome.
The simmering national debate over immigration took another tense turn last night outside the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf, as a lone man filming the scene was confronted by activists from Stand Up to Racism, Suture. According to eyewitnesses, the man, believed to be an independent content creator documenting the ongoing migrant accommodation controversy, was approached by a group of Suster activists, sparking a heated verbal exchange that quickly drew police intervention. Officers on the scene reportedly advised the cameraman to walk away in order to defuse tensions. The incident highlights the increasingly volatile atmosphere surrounding hotels being used to house migrants, which have become flashpoints for both local protests and counter-demonstrations. One Suter activist speaking to reporters claimed that women are really afraid of right-wing bigoted men, suggesting that the growing protests at migrant hotels have been fueled by extremist rhetoric. The comment is likely to intensify the war of words between grassroots anti-immigration campaigners and pro-migrant activist groups, both of which accuse the other side of intimidation tactics. The Britannia Hotel, like many similar facilities across the country, has been under heavy scrutiny following revelations about the scale of the migrant accommodation program. While local residents argue that their concerns about safety and community cohesion are being dismissed, groups like Suture insist that the protests are thinly veiled displays of xenophobia. This latest clash underscores the increasingly polarized debate surrounding immigration and housing policy in Britain. As the government struggles to find long-term solutions, the hotels have become battlegrounds, not just for policy, but for the narrative itself.
Ian, I must talk to you about a subject very close to your heart, and one that you have campaigned on rather brilliantly, I would say, for years. And we're hearing reports that there are plans to re-establish an extradition agreement, maybe even a treaty with China, whereby dissidents from Hong Kong, who we have given effectively refuge to, we literally have given them refugee status in this country, could be extradited back to Hong Kong. Is this really happening?
Yes, the minister has signed a letter, it appears, and it's now come to light that the letter has talked about 3 countries that they were going to reinstall extradition agreements. Now, bear in mind, we had an extradition agreement with Hong Kong, but not with China, and we suspended that, and we bullied the rest of Europe to suspend theirs. Most of them did. Italy was very slow to do it. But that was to protect those Hong Kongers who were fleeing after, by the way, China trashed an international agreement, signed a British agreement. So they've all fled here. There's a lot of them here. They're all good people. They're all trying to work like mad. They're not loiterers. But the main thing is also people like myself, there's about 9 of us in Parliament, were also sanctioned. I and a group of us found out about the genocide in Xinjiang. We published that. I set up an organization called IPAC, Interparliamentary Alliance on China. We've got 43 countries in that and parliamentarians around the world, but Xi and China hate us for that. So when we travel abroad, we have to be very careful of where we go, because if we go to a country that's got an extradition agreement with Hong Kong or China, then they could throw a red notice at us, have us arrested pending any further extradition. And the same would happen here if we stupidly returned to an extradition agreement. And this is where this government has lost the plot, frankly. They are busy trying to give permission to China to build a super embassy in London where they'll have 200 more spies accommodated. They have sought China's money and seem to care not a damn about the fact they are the greatest threat to our freedom, our democracy, the rule of law. And all of this, on top of this, they're now going to sign an extradition agreement again with a country that thinks nothing of locking people up without trial. And Jimmy Lai, of course, over there is a very good example of that. So good government, it strikes me as appalling.
I'm not sure you're right about this. I'm not sure they've lost the plot. I think they know what they're doing. They're quite prepared to give in to China. They think that our economic future is going to be inextricably linked with China. And to be fair, that's what Chancellor Osborne thought himself just a few years ago. This is deliberate.
Well, it is, because I agree with you that this government is obsessed with growth because they've gone and screwed up the rest of the economy. And now what they think is China's going to run to their rescue with inward investment. I have to tell you, China has not done any inward investment to another country since 2017, and it's not about to start because its own economy has problems. Here's the deal. They want to dump their product on us. Cheap steel, cheap cars, cheap batteries, cheap arrays, many of them made by slave labor, and Miliband and Co. were happy to turn a blind eye to that until we stopped it. The truth is, this is craven and appalling, and if they do this, I promise you, we will have a major rebellion on our hands, because I'm not prepared to put up with this, one way or the other.
As ever, we understand exactly what you think. Thank you very much indeed.
The British government is facing growing backlash over its unclear stance on extradition agreements with Hong Kong, with former Conservative leader Sir Ian Duncan Smith launching a stinging attack on ministers for what he calls a dangerous lapse in foreign policy judgment. This is where this government has lost the plot, Duncan Smith declared, accusing ministers of sending mixed signals on whether the UK will resume extraditions to the former British colony. The issue, he argued, goes far beyond technical legal agreements and strikes at the heart of Britain's commitment to defending human rights and democratic values in the face of China's tightening grip on Hong Kong. The UK suspended its extradition treaty with Hong Kong in 2020 following Beijing's imposition of the sweeping national security law, a move widely condemned by Western governments as a breach of the Sino-British Joint Declaration. However, recent remarks by government officials have sparked speculation that this stance could be reconsidered, prompting outrage among senior MPs and activists alike. Pressure is mounting on the Foreign Office to provide clarity, with cross-party MPs demanding an urgent statement on the government's policy. Critics argue that ambiguity on such a critical issue risks undermining the UK's international credibility at a time when global tensions with China are already on the rise. For now, the government has offered no firm indication of a policy shift, but the political storm shows no signs of abating. If anything, The controversy has once again placed the Conservative leadership under scrutiny for its handling of foreign affairs, an area where Duncan Smith believes moral clarity should never be negotiable.